We are remodeling our living room after we had had a new roof installed. There had been some water damage due to leaks from an old roof. This is part 3 of the process of our continued living room renovation project. One more wiring job to do. Switch that's sort of hanging from the ceiling. I decided to remove this short wall to add a little extra space to my living room. In removing that wall, I was left with a light switch hanging from the ceiling. In each section of this front wall, I have had to move electrical wiring. In part 1 of the project, the first section, I relocated a receptacle and showed you how to hook it up. In part 2, in the middle section, I had 4 wires to relocate so that I could bring the light switches closer to the door, which had been previously moved to this new location. And I showed you how to hook up a light switch in that video. Now it's time to do the last section, which is exactly 48 inches across, so one piece of drywall will finish it off. And I definitely have to do something with this switch that's sort of hanging from the ceiling. I have not insulated this section because I still have one more wiring job to do. You can see I have a cord hanging. This is the switch to the dining room. I need to pull this wire up and over there to come down through where the previous wires were. And there is an outlet on the floor. The receptacle on the lower end of this section of the wall was on yet a different circuit connected to the kitchen receptacles. So before disconnecting the outlet, I isolated and turned off that circuit. I need to just switch it out. I don't like the slotted switches. I prefer these type of outlets. I don't like that old outlet. My electrician friend, he doesn't like these either. He says they are a fire hazard, and I just don't like them, period. So as I do work around the house, I replace all of my outlets and switches to the more updated ones with the screws. But this is what a slotted switch looks like. The wires are just shoved down between the metal pieces. But I have to take it out anyways because I'm going to insert a box in the wall, and I can't put the box in until the sheetrock is up. So I got one last piece of wiring to do to be able to complete this section of the wall. And I think first what I'm going to do is paint the windowsill so that it matches the other windowsill that we did over there in that corner. So I'm down to finishing off this corner. Now I say corner because there used to be a wall here. I haven't taken out that board because there's an electrical switch attached to it, which is just hanging in midair right now. I have to move that. It will be moved over here so that it'll be easily accessible. That's the dining room. This is the living room. Technically, I am going to move the wall back a few inches, maybe about a foot, once I figure out exactly how much space I need for my furniture. And I was thinking about putting up like a half a wall and maybe a pillar just to divide the two rooms. But that'll be a project that I will do later. So it'll be open here. So if the light switch for the dining room is right there, that'll be totally fine because you could just reach over and flip it on. So that'll be fine. I can deal with that. You know, or if I want, I can lay the switch on all the time and we just pull the chain to turn it on or off or whatever. And a lot of times we just like to have the fan on and not the light. So we're going to finish this, and I haven't closed up the ceiling because I'm going to use that hole right there I can reach up in there, grab that wire, pull it up once I have the switch disconnected, and pull that wire down and pull it right through one of those holes that's already there. Oh yeah, this is a name. It's Vanessa Radbury. Radberry, something like that. For some reason, there's a name. It's written upside down. Somebody put their name on it. I guess she helped build this place. So, should I put my name on the wall? I guess people do that. I like to hide things or put things in the walls. And then the last thing that I'll need to do is to patch the ceiling. And I've been thinking about how to do that. And I'm not just going to patch those little holes. I'm probably going to have to cut a hole all the way back to wherever the previous truss is, and cut a straight line to the next truss and just put in a whole section right there to finish off the ceiling. That'll be the last thing that I do for this corner. Are we going to have to cut that piece of metal?
When I take the board off, I may have to. I think if I can cut most of it.
What tool would you use to
cut? I got cutter. I got shears.
Okay. Shears? You don't have a power tool to cut metal?
Maybe. If I have the disc. You have the long screwdriver, please?
Sure.
Do that.
Are those nails or staples?
Staples.
They staple metal in?
See it? Can you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. Those long staples.
Yeah.
Common throughout the whole house.
I hate those staples. They're a pain to pull out all the time. They're in the floor, in the walls. Don't cut yourself. We've already shed enough blood. But if I have to cut a hole back far enough, maybe we could just bend that metal back up into the roof and might not have to cut it.
Yeah.
Because I have to cut a bigger hole anyways to repair the roof. I mean ceiling. Yay. It's done. Let me hold this wire out of the way. I don't want no accidents. What?
Turn on that air purifier if you want.
Oh.
Good. Good, I got this. Good. Okay, now touch it again.
How much you cut that I'm proud of my husband. He was able to get that board that had 1,000,000 staples in it. He got it down from the ceiling without destroying the ceiling. So all we have left is a little hole where the wire came through, and he hammered the 2 nails back up in, and we'll just put some plaster on that. So we don't have any major repair to do to the ceiling here, except it could use a little bit more texturing. I had opened up 3 small holes in the ceiling to access and relocate the wires to where I needed them. While those holes were opened, I thought it would be possible to pull the wire up from the ceiling and bring it down through one of the 2 holes already in place, where the previous wires had been. First, I located the correct circuit and turned off the power for that switch, which controls the dining room light. It's attached to that room and that room, so the wires are probably coming right across that way. So my arm's not long enough to reach from there to here. Give me the hook. That is when I thought to use the hook end of one of the fishing rods to snatch the wire and pull it towards me. That worked. Once again, the fishing rods aided me in moving the wires to where I wanted them. I was able to pull the wire up and feed it down through one of the two holes in the top of the cavity, where the previous wires had been.
Put it through that one of those tubes.
That's what I'm gonna do. This time, the wire was plenty long enough so I didn't have to do any splicing. The last two videos I had to do some splicing. All right, nice and long. I won't have to extend it. Perfect. All right. You need to bring your end over that way. We're going to set your end on the ground. We have to angle it this way. Tighter. Grab the wires down there. Put them through the hole. We need shims to help hold it up while we get it up. We have to lift it just a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Lift it a little bit. Sit on top of that window frame. Oh, come on.
This is right up against the top right here. That's as far as it goes.
I may have to do a little trimming from here over. It fits nice and tight there, and it fits good. It's good there.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me get my knife.
Right.
Oops, I'm sorry.
No, you didn't do that. I did. So let's.
I put lines where you
Oh,
should
shit.
put the screws. See, there's a stud here, there's a stud here, there's a stud here.
Cool.
So I put the lines already for you. Pop a hole. This wire is coming from the room light to the switch. There's a black wire, a white wire, and a copper wire. Actually, they're all copper wires, but one is covered with black to represent the hot wire. The other is covered in white to represent the neutral wire, the bare copper wire, which will serve as the grounding wire. A switch only has 3 screws, a green one for the ground, and 2 brass screws. I'm now hooking up a light switch, which is even more simple than an outlet to hook up. With needle nose pliers, I curled for the ground. I attached the ground wire to the green screw. The black wire connects to the top screw for the on position of the switch, and the white wire to the bottom screw for the off position of the switch. Lastly, I added the switch cover, which is held by 2 short screws. The switch works as I expected it should. I made a hole. I inserted the blue device box into the hole that I had cut for it. The hole is 2 1/4 inch wide and 3 3/4 inch long. I had cut the hole with a craft knife. You could use a box knife or a drywall handsaw, which you do see me use somewhere in this video. Next, I tightened the box screws. There is one in the upper right and another on the lower left. There is a flap attached to both of these screws. As you tighten it, the flap comes up the back side of the drywall, tightening it into place. That holds the box firmly in the wall. Okay, box is secure. And this time we're gonna do this. We have black to brass, neutral to silver, ground copper to green. So copper's going to be down and the black is going to be on the right and the white on the left. I want to curl the ends. Screw head. Oh, perfect. All the way around. Perfect circle. Let's tighten it just a wee bit more. Make that circle a little smaller. Last ground. Head. Okay, very good. We have the wall all closed up, the wires are moved to where they need to be. Now I've got to patch the holes. How do I do that? That's what I got to figure out. Well, I know that there is a rafter here and somewhere here and right there. I don't know where the next one is. I'm guessing somewhere about there. I cannot just put the patches up there that I took out because there's nothing to screw it to, because they are in the cavities between the rafters. So obviously I'm going to have to cut out a much bigger hole. So I'm going to measure, mark a straight line. I'll use my circular saw because I can set the depth of the cut so I don't cut too deep, so I don't cut any wires, I don't cut any rafters. I'll only be cutting the ceiling board. Take out a big chunk, a nice straight line, so I can put up a new piece. And then I'll worry about the mudding and the texturing later. So we're cutting in the void to find out how far we have to go to get to the next stud.
Staples and nails. Give me the bar.
The bar or the hammer?
that black pry bar.
Flat iron?
Yeah.
The hammer's good. They stapled it down?
Yep.
Stapled it to the wood.
Yep.
I hate those stupid staples. I made a mark so that I can hopefully make a nice clean cut that I'll be able to measure and mark a new place. And I've set the depth of my circular saw to 1/2 inch depth. Now I'm going to cut the main hole. From this angle, it may look as though there's a lot of wires, and there are, but they are up above where I'll be cutting. They appear to be closer to the camera than they actually are. So have no fear, I will make sure that I don't cut any wires. How about cut from here out to the line? Just bring it up there, then we've got more space.
Yeah.
Yeah, from there to the line. Just don't cut past the line, because I'm going to try to keep that nice line. But yeah, watch out for wires. See, there's a lot of wires out there. So don't cut too deep, because you don't know if you'll be reaching. Side too. Yeah, the other side of that hole. Just do the same thing. But make sure the wires are out of the way.
Of course.
I know, I just want to keep in mind when you're nervous about the wires.
You're nervous. I'm up here cutting.
I don't want to create a problem. Most of the wires are up high. It just looks like that's that one that's hanging loose. Because they didn't secure the wires anywhere. Not the way Aaron
No,
does.
they're just laying here.
I know, they're just laying there. When Aaron does wiring, he always staples them down nice and neat.
Okay, so this right here is that 2x.
Right. Right. Maybe I should grab a zip tie and cinch those wires out so they stay up.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
Let me go out to the shop and get some zip ties. Got 2 lengths. What size you want? So 5 wires. Maybe a bigger one.
No, they're smaller before. Yeah.
we're gonna
You
have
want to leave this?
No, because we've got to put a whole piece up there. It's got to come out.
Okay.
If the foam comes with it, then we'll have to just put a spacer board, whatever thickness it needs to be, so that we've got something to nail to, and we'll figure that out. So if you have to stick your knife behind that foam below the wood, just do it. It's probably just like that piece that came out earlier. The foam came with it. It stuck to it. So the hole is made. Now we have to cut the piece to go in there, and we have to clean up another mess that we've created. We are saving the insulation so we can put a lot of it back in, but we got to sort out the other stuff from it. There's always many messes to clean up when you're doing any home remodeling project. It's cleaned out and we're able to screw to here, but there's a big gap. I'm concerned about having this 23-inch gap. So I think I'm gonna cut some 2x4s and insert them so that I can screw along this edge, so we don't have a future where that seam starts to sag down. Because I want to do the job, do it right, so that I never have to open this up again and have any issue. Well, this wall is complete. Filled in. We just got to do some mudding and some caulking, and I've got a door frame that I want to put on, and then we've got, after we have the mudding and the sanding, this project, we're going to expand. It's funny, when you work on one thing, you're like, oh, this is looking so good and it's much better and it's stronger. We see something else that needs to be done. You see a dividing line right there. Don't worry about that. We're going to take care of that. So we're looking at this wall here, and we're planning on installing a mini split. And we started to mount the bracket and we realized there's only one stud right there. And the walls are so weak. You can literally push your hand and move the wall board, because when this place was built, it was done very cheaply with very cheap materials. So that's where we want the mini split to be. If I put my hand here, I can push the wall in right there. See the shadow move? It's so weak. I don't trust that wall at all. So we've decided that we're going to go ahead and we're going to tear out this whole wall, section by section, and we're going to put in some new studs where there should be studs. And we're going to put new sheetrock, because that sheetrock is thinner than this. So we're going to continue what we're doing all the way down to that corner. That is our plan. And we're going to take this project a little at a time. We're going to be taking a trip the end of October, so we kind of decided we're going to stop here, and after our trip, when we come back, when it's also a lot cooler, we're going to work on that project as well as strengthening the wall right there so that we can install the mini split so that we know the wall is strong enough to hold up the unit. The unit's not really heavy, but still, we're not comfortable with the idea of just one single stud to hold that unit, and then the rest of it into very thin sheetrock that you can literally push with your hand. So if you want to follow this project, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.